What if supporting small companies wasn't just for investors, but for all of us? Consumers, partners, creators, and communities. This is Alpha Wolf Impact. We're not here to argue politics or labels. We're here to lift up builders, small businesses, and innovators creating products and services that solve real problems, not just feed the next trend. We spotlight under-the-radar companies that fill a need, not just a want, create jobs and support families, make life a little safer, smarter, cleaner, more environmentally friendly. I'm Tim Weintraub. Alpha Wolf Impact isn't just a stock picking site. It's a movement. You can support these companies by how you buy, how you share, how you partner, and yes, sometimes how you invest. Together we help shrink the adoption curve for solutions that make the world just a little bit better. No matter who you are, where you come from, if you're tired of the divide and believe we win when we unite around solutions, you are in the right place. This is Alpha Wolf Impact. Today I'm sitting down with Bill Wentworth, the CEO of DAIO Corporation. They are a leading provider of advanced data and security programming solutions for flash memory-based intelligent devices, and microcontrollers for automotive, Internet of Things, medical, wireless, consumer electronics, industrial controls, and other markets. DAIO's programming solutions allow their customers to reliably, securely, and cost-effectively bring innovative new products to life. And I'm going to let Bill tell you more about that in just a moment. Hey there, folks. Quick disclaimer here. This is educational, informational, entertainment. My opinions, not financial advice. I may own these stocks and can buy and sell at any time. This isn't a paid-for promotion. If I've done consulting, it's separate from this interview. Full disclosure are linked below the video. Hey, everybody. Tim from Alpha Wolf Capital coming at you with, well, it's not really a new company because I did meet with them once before. I met with their former CEO. And as everybody knows that follows me, I do love turnaround stories. I like companies that have what I think are unique and interesting products that also have potentially, when they get new blood in the door, sometimes that can be a real catalyst for the company. And I've got Bill it's Wentworth, right?
Yeah,
Bill Wentworth in the house. He is the new CEO over at Data IO. And Bill, you are the president and CEO, right?
yes, yep,
But you have a history that has been the customer,
yeah,
the manufacturer. I mean, you've seen this thing from every angle.
360 degrees, pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And so this is not you're
This is
not
not
walking
new to
into,
me. No, no. I come in with a few years of experience, so
just a few.
yeah. Tim, thanks for opening up there. So my intersection with data arrow started actually when I was a young kid. My dad was an entrepreneur and was one of the incubators of the electronics distribution industry. Started a company called Linex, and as a kid, you work at your dad's company, not uncommon. And so I worked on the very first piece of equipment data I ever created, a data I one. And so that was my introduction to them. And then in my family, you don't get any free breaks. So dad pushed me out of the nest and said, go figure it out. And so I went off and, 22 years old out of tech school and worked at this small independent programming house using data rail equipment, of course, because they had 80% market share back then. And they were the brand. And so, anyways, that company ended up buying it from the owners because they had a conflict of interest with a distributor that was buying them. Bought the company for $30,000. There's three of us in the business, and grew it to about a $60 million company in the early 2000s. Had a lot of success. We expanded into Silicon Valley out in California from Boston. And then as supply chains started to shift into Mexico, we moved into Guadalajara. And at that time, we were traditionally with asset lending banks, right? And they're only so far you can go in an asset lending bank. And we were a CapEx heavy business, providing programming services for OEMs. And so when we got to kind of an inflection point, like, all right, we really need to grow globally because the shift from Mexico to Asia was coming. You could see it. It had happened pretty quickly and caught a lot of people off guard. And so Unfortunately, I had sold the HIG Capital private equity firm on Miami, and that wasn't the unfortunate part. The unfortunate part was for them because they had just paid me a lot of money. And WIP was 15% of what it was the following month when the dot-com bomb went off in April of 2001, and I sold in March. So, we had a
Oh
tough,
man, was that a
oh yeah, it was literally 30 days before it happened, right?
Yep.
Our WIP was 50% of what it was the month before. 50. I mean, it just went boom off the mark. So, the one thing is going through times like this as a CEO and an operator, it does train you to look for things that don't make that mistake in the future, right?
Right.
And at that time, our whole industry was embedded with telco and network companies. I mean, it was our whole industry was there. So the whole industry crashed. It really did. So this was a time for survival, and I won't go into the details of all the stuff we did. But we did come back the other side, and we expanded into automotive, consumer electronics. Apple was one of our big clients, and was able to turn the business around successfully and sell it to Avnet, who was a global distributor in 2008 June. Of course, second time in September of '08, the financial crisis hits. So we got to do this all over again. So Avnet's like, oh crap, we just paid all this money for you, and now we got to fix that. So there was tough times for a year, but it pushed synergies. We consolidated the businesses pretty fast. We had some overlapping sites, so we got through that, and we ended up being the highest operating income business unit within the 43 business units within inside Avnet. So we had a very successful turnaround within Avnet and ended up being number one worldwide in services provided around programmable technology, microcontrollers, and flash memory. And did that for 4 years, ran global service with them, then went to their IT group, did another turnaround there with 12 companies they had bought, did all the integration. Seven of the companies were losing money and quickly turned those around and get that turnaround in a year. So I think turnarounds have become, because as a business leader, you're always, I mean, I can't count the number of recessions we went through. Forget about big crashes, right? So you're always having to retool the business and reinvent yourself. One of the things I always had with my staff was we always need to stay 2 years ahead of our competition. That was a mandate. No matter what it was, whether it was a use of technology or some custom stuff that we do that others can't do, but that was always the mandate, and that will be the mandate of DAIO as well. And it proved successful and to have a great culture. That's something I learned from my dad. I mean, I talked to people that worked for him years ago, and they still say it was the best company they ever worked for. And that's what I want to be recognized for. Even behind me, if you can see, we've got best businesses to work for in the state of New Hampshire. Yes, there are more than 10 companies in New Hampshire. So it was still a good award to win. But that was something that, and I've got some awards that were individually driven, but they were team driven together. Entrepreneur of the Year, things like that. But those awards mean nothing to me. The ones that mean a lot are winning best company to work for because, these people sweat for you every single day and you want them to care. In my companies, every person owned shares. It wasn't just the
Now,
executive team.
this is I want to highlight this.
Yeah.
I want to stop on some of this
Yeah,
stuff
sure.
because
Yeah, absolutely.
this is really important to me, right? So
Yeah.
when I'm evaluating companies,
Yeah.
there's several things that I'm looking for. One is, of course, the leadership. I mean, that's the number one to me, right?
Sure.
Then that's why I have to get to know you. I have to be able to look you
Yeah.
in the eye. I have to be able to say,
Sure.
okay,
Yeah, you go.
does this guy do what he says he's going to do? Right?
Absolutely.
Everybody, Bill,
Yeah.
you may find this hard to believe, but I've never had in all of my years somebody come up and say, Tim, we're a really shitty company. We're gonna
No.
we're gonna dilute the hell out of you until your
Right.
eyeballs bleed, and
Right.
eventually we're just gonna wind up folding up and filing BK.
Yeah. But
Nobody's ever
invest.
said that.
But invest in me.
Right? I mean, it's always
Just
everybody's
investing.
got a phenomenal story.
Oh yeah.
What's the difference? The
Yeah,
difference
exactly.
is, though they do what they say they're going to do, is it a
Yeah.
clear vision? Is
Right.
it are they actually using a strategy to achieve the vision,
Yep.
and then do they execute? Right? I mean,
Yeah. Right.
it's not that tough. Now, does that mean that everything that they see it goes flawlessly in a time
Oh
frame
no.
I mean, come on,
We all have to pivot,
right? Yeah,
whether it's a
I
big
mean,
or
look,
small pivot, you're gonna pivot.
right? COVID. Who would have thought that
Yeah.
was going to happen,
No.
right? I mean, things happen, change
I'm glad I
timelines.
wasn't an operator then.
It's hard, right? Being
Oh,
a CEO,
hey, look, my hat's off to CEOs and executives that were running companies at that time. I don't even know what that was like.
right? I
It had
mean,
to be brutal.
you look at it and you say, okay,
That is one downturn I'm glad I avoided.
yeah, that was brutal. But then,
Yeah.
but something tells me, Bill, that if you were in it, you would
I
probably,
was. I was in the IT space and actually accelerated cloud development and stuff because companies had to change their business model. Like I said earlier when we talked, I moved from semiconductors into IT and actually was quite active around that time. I wasn't running, but I was running boards. I was working with private equity firms, finding other companies to put together to do grow and theses and stuff. And we were quite successful because companies had to evolve because they couldn't run their business the way they did before.
right? And that's always the way it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way it should be. I mean, we should
It's
constantly,
what drove cloud adoption, honestly.
right? I
Yeah,
mean, we should be constantly looking for ways to improve,
yeah,
right? And that's exactly what this platform is all about. It's about finding the
yeah,
companies that, yes,
yeah,
they can provide an above average return on investment, but more importantly, they can make the world a little bit better, just a little bit better,
yeah.
right? I
Right.
mean, if we do that every day, if we wake up every day and say, look, I just want to be
Yeah,
better than I was the day before, just a little
yeah.
bit,
Right.
right?
Well, that's what I say about employees. Like, I've talked to my staff and I'm like, look, these people don't roll out of bed and say, I think I'm going to go in and cause hell with the company today. That's not what they do. Okay. Not most of them. There may be a few, but there's outliers, right? So
Right,
if things are not rolling and they're not like engaged and there's something else wrong and it's something we're probably doing.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
So engage your employees, talk to them all the time. They're the ones that are driving the revenue. It's the decisions that they execute on that you make. You should care about how they feel.
And everyone owning shares is people talk about the gap between the haves and the
Yeah,
have-nots.
don't get me
There's
going on
such an
that.
easy way in my mind to fill those gaps because,
It's my belief system everybody should, because everybody cares. And
right, right.
it's simple.
Give
Simple.
give them shares, give them a piece of the company, and
Yep.
watch what they do for you, right?
Yeah, I would rather have a smaller piece of a big pie than a big piece of pie to a small. I mean, it's better for everybody.
It
And
is.
it makes my job easier because everybody's carrying the baton, not just me or the executive team.
And if you can get consumers
Yeah,
to see that same thing, like,
yeah,
instead of just going and buying the Starbucks coffee, if
yeah,
you would have bought the Starbucks stock,
yeah,
right? And instead of going to Walmart and just buying the stuff at Walmart, if you'd have
yeah,
bought the Walmart stock,
yep,
right?
yep,
That's how you fill the gap, right?
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
there's companies out there right now that are like 10 cents a share that shouldn't be, right?
No, they shouldn't.
And I don't care who you are, you could scrape the front seat of your car and your
Yeah,
couch, and you could buy shares in that company,
yeah,
and you're going to be just fine, right? I
yeah,
mean, you don't have to
absolutely.
spend $1 million in the stock market to make a good chunk of money.
No, and one of the things I've always thought about is, that's just my own investment thesis is, look, why would I not invest in tech? I've lived in it my entire life. There's no way an analyst knows it better than I do. I mean,
Right.
there are some, and don't get me wrong, some are very engaged with their customers. They really understand a deep dive, but that's a smaller part of the group out there. And there's some very good analysts out there that do a great job of explaining the companies and making good suggestions. But, the thing is how I was raised is, look, invest in what you know, right? And
Right.
you won't make a lot of mistakes. And I don't care where you are in the ecosystem, the economy, whatever place you're in right now, you know something about that domain, right? You're in it. So there's asset classes you invest in and, commodities and stuff that makes sense. But, invest in what you know, you know.
And it's funny that you say that because that is how I used to think. And what's
Yeah.
really interesting is I used to be very focused on one sector or one space, right?
Let me guess,
But
was it
but
construction?
really what I've come to do is I've come to say
Yeah.
if it's interesting, I want to know about it. right? I
Yeah,
just want to
right.
know.
That's true. Right. Yeah, you can do your own homework. It doesn't have to be just in that domain, but do the homework, to your
Right.
point. Do
Do
it.
the homework.
It's your money.
Understand.
You worked hard for it. Don't let somebody else make those decisions for you.
Absolutely.
Don't.
Absolutely. And
Big
that's
mistake.
one of the things that I think if consumers understood how things do actually relate back to them, right?
Yeah.
Like you can say something saves lives,
Yeah.
and they'll go, "Oh, that's great," but they do they really give a shit? I mean,
Yeah.
they don't really give a shit because unless it's saving their life or someone's life that they love,
Right.
it's a nice
Right.
thing to hear, but it's not going to move them, right? I mean, it's
No.
not, they're not doing anything about it unless they're emotionally attached, right? That's
Right.
just the way it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. But
Yep.
there are a lot of companies out there that save lives. And then,
Oh, sure.
I understand you may not think about that today, but if you come down with a condition where knowing about this specific product would have saved your life,
Yeah.
then it kind of means something, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure.
and all
Absolutely. I
of
mean,
this,
think about cell phones we were talking about earlier. How many lives have been saved because of cell phones because you could dial 911 right there,
yeah,
right? So I mean, a lot of technology has saved lives, and I could say data IO most likely, Tim, in your car, there are parts that have gone through our equipment that's in your car right
so
now.
that's what I was going to ask you, Bill. For
Yeah.
someone that does not know, never heard of data IO,
Yeah.
they don't know,
Yeah.
what do you do
Yeah.
exactly? And this is the tough one.
Yeah.
Why should they care?
Yeah. Well, it's important to have look, we're a niche company in the semiconductor industry. And how programmable technology came to life was in the mid 70s. And the reason why it came out and allowed technology to really advance was you think of a programmable technology as a white piece of paper. An engineer can go and draw whatever he wants on that piece of paper. That drawing is taken by our equipment and put in millions of chips or thousands or whatever that product, is going to build. So we make the equipment that duplicates that picture inside the silicon, essentially. That picture is what brings that product to life. Without that picture, the equipment doesn't run. The phone doesn't turn on. There's no screen. You can't see the apps. It doesn't have a 911 frequency code, which is we program it to. You can't do anything with it, right? It's
Right.
just a dead product. So we bring it to life through putting the software that the OEM designs and we take it and duplicate it. Now, we don't do that as a service. We sell the equipment to a Foxconn or a contract or even a car like BMW has our equipment, Mercedes, tier two suppliers use our equipment to provide those programming of the chips to put it in the manufacturing the boards and make the product work. So without our equipment, none of this equipment comes to life because you've got to get the data from the engineered design into the chip into the product. So
Okay.
we have manual systems that sit on tabletops for engineers to do the design, and then we have big automated equipment that costs anywhere from 200,000 to $500,000 that does the volume production. So we start all the way from prototype pre-production all the way through production.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And so when I sat with the other CEO, Anthony, I
yeah.
think his name was, um, really focused on it. It was really auto was the whole.
Automotive is still our big part of the market. I mean, if you think back at like cell phones and stuff, there's less cell phone competitors now, right? You've got Apple and Samsung that pretty much run the world in cell phones for the most part. But automotive, there's been an explosion of electronic content. If you go back to, the late 80s, early 90s, there might have been 10 to 20 microcontrollers in a car, flash based, that has that picture in it to run, essentially. Now a BMW 750 probably has 150 microcontrollers in it. So just that content is driving the technology within cars, automation, dashboard technology, um, safety systems, anti-locking brakes, all that stuff has flash micros that are typically programmed on equipment like ours to make that car function the way it is. In the future, we see the edge of the network growing with automation, robotics, drones, as we were talking about. Anything autonomous is going to have more and more technology in it, which will drive the need for our equipment. But the thing that we're doing is that we're trying to take our platform that's mostly been a CapEx platform and move into services and move into another place where data gets provisioned, which is at test. So we're in the process of expanding the product line so we can address a much larger market. And right now, we'll probably this year be able to address a market that's well over a billion versus the $150 million market that Data has been playing in the past.
So are you suggesting that you would become more like almost like a software as a service kind of thing?
In some cases, we will because one of the things that, I'm pretty keen on is trying to find ways to build recurring revenue, right? One way when you can do that and connect directly to a customer or a semiconductor supplier, you're adding more value to the supply chain, but you're also building repeatable business. And some of that is software only usage. So like in the programming at test world, that's going to be a software product pretty much, right? There may be a small piece of hardware. So if you've ever heard of the company Teradyne, they're right here in Boston. They program at test, but they've used their own, kind of kludgy technology. They don't have a big algorithm library, meaning they don't have a lot of devices they support. And they recently came to us and said, "Hey, could you help us get in this? Because we're getting a lot of requests to program and data provision, not only just pure data, but also security, which is a big issue today." So being able to do that at test, especially for parts that program really slow. Large memories you'll always do offline because like a UFS flash, which is a very large memory device. What's crazy is, Tim, the first 1 gigabyte memory part came out in 2001. They're now up to 256 gigabytes on a chip that sits on the tip of your finger.
Nuts,
It can
man.
be a 1 terabyte in 2 years. It's nuts. So those things take a long time to load that file. So offline will always be a good part of our business as memory sizes grow. Microcontrollers are small and fast. We've got technology we're rolling out for that. But it also will get provisioned to test. So we need to be able to hit all these different junction points. And that's what I'm bringing to Data IO. My experience is being a global service provider. Our company was the number one kind of consumer of this technology worldwide. One of our programming centers in Singapore had 80 pieces of automated equipment. Our largest customer has 30. So we were very large consumers. So I look through the customer's lens when I look at Data IO and what did I want as a customer that would have been useful in me processing this technology. And that's what we're building today.
So, I mean, you've been in this for a long, long
Too
time,
long.
right? Services,
I'm much older than I look, Tim.
services, programming, M&A,
Yeah,
CEO, right?
yeah.
Now,
Evangelist.
what's one win that you are proud of and one miss that
Yeah.
taught you something, taught you a good, valuable lesson?
Well, in my career, I'd have to say, having domain concentration. Interesting thing when I came to Data as a board member, one of the first things I said to the board, because 62% of the business is automotive, I said, "You guys have a problem." And
Right.
this is end of 23, early 24. What happened? The automotive industry went in the tank.
Yep.
So exactly what I told them, I said it happened literally the next quarter. And so that has hurt because automotive, last year, because the overall economy softened in a lot of places. People get enamored with, what's going on NVIDIA and AI, but there's only a select few companies that have benefited from that growth, not the overall semiconductor industry. I mean, Micron's benefited, NVIDIA's benefited, Broadcom's benefited. There are 250 other semiconductor companies that haven't. Now, we've got a broad, as the economy grows in other ways and manufacturing goes back to the US, we're starting to see that build out start to happen and starting to help the rest of the market start to, grow again. And we're seeing early signs in this quarter that happening, which is great. Our traffic and conversations are way up right now with new contracts, new products coming out. And AI is actually going to drive a lot of that new product introduction a lot faster. I was just over in China. We've got a customer to say that the main provider to BYD. And if you've ever heard of BYD,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
the
Car company.
largest EV manufacturer in the world, and that's their primary client. They had 400 production lines in one building. It was insane. Yeah. And so we had a very good conversation about where they're going, but their product life cycle is 6 months. That's how fast they turn new products in their cars. In the US, these manufacturers take the 5 years,
It's a
right?
7-year sales cycle to get into a car.
Exactly. I mean, so they're beating me up. I'm like, well, a device request can't take 8 weeks, Bill. I'm like, don't worry, I'm going to get it down to two. But our industry's been at 8 to 10. I mean, so all the things that we're doing, we're going to set new benchmarks in this industry across the board because it's something I would have did anyways, regardless of what I heard from to say, because it's something that has to change. And as a customer of this industry, these are things that frustrated us as well. So we have found ways we're using 3D printing to do DSRs so we can print a socket in hours and get my software team to develop that algorithm that program the part and do it in a week or two instead of 8 weeks, right? Waiting for a socket. So there's so many things we can do to improve, and we've got all these things launched. And then we got to buy some growth, right? We got to get into these other businesses. We could do it organically, it would just take too long and we would just fall further behind. So it's best that we take the capital we've accessed, the growth plan we have. We did a shelf registration a month ago. We got a new banking relationship. So now we have all the tools in the toolbox that we can actually aggressively grow the business.
So I know that everybody that's listening to this, as soon as they heard that part,
Yeah.
the banking relationships this is where everybody starts to freak out. Oh my God,
Yeah, they do.
you're gonna do a capital raise,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Oh,
kill
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So Bill, I get the sense that you've been around for a little while.
Yeah.
You have a good sense of how the capital markets work,
Yep.
right?
I get trained well by private equity, not public, but they certainly know what to do with capital.
Right.
Capital allocation is everything. I mean, you got to use it wisely.
It may not come as a huge surprise to you to find out
Yeah.
that some of these financial institutions aren't your friends. They're
No,
not your partners.
oh, dude, I found that out a year ago. I'm like, what's your fee structure? Yeah, that's not going to work for me. What do you
Right?
want on the back end? You want what? 5% warrants? No.
So that's
Yeah.
always important to me because a
Yeah.
lot of times with the companies that come to,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, they really don't know how.
They don't understand the markets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried
Yeah.
about that with you. I think you get
No,
that
no,
pretty
no,
much under
no, no.
control.
Well, my
Right.
important thing is little dilution, right? You always need a little, but try to minimize that. Use debt. If the stock goes up, you raise more capital with the so pay the debt off. It's all about, the capital allocation. It's important. We spent, yeah, a couple $1 million reinvesting in the core because the previous management team didn't do it for 10 years. So I had a lot of catch up to do. So last year is not a reflection of what the future years look like because I literally had 10 years of catch up to do in investment.
So
So
I always say that when you get new management in, right?
yeah.
And this is why it's one of my favorite stories, is because you could have a great product or
Yeah,
service, but if you have leadership that just gets stagnant over time, I mean, it
yeah,
happens to everybody, man. I don't
it
care,
does. It
right?
does. Yeah,
You just get kind of stuck in your ways. When you get that new team in, a lot of
yeah,
times it can
yeah.
reinvigorate the whole thing, right?
And the board too. The board can play a big role in that as well.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
So I mean, you get that new energy,
yeah.
right?
And that's what we
And
have.
then it's like, what can we do with what we
Yeah,
got, right? What can we do? And if you get
yeah,
the right people,
yeah.
I mean, especially if it's a story that's been ignored for years, right?
It is. Yeah.
Or has been sat in for years and people are dissatisfied, right?
Yeah, they just
It's the
wanted to keep
perfect
cash on. No,
opportunity.
right. They just wanted to keep cash on the balance sheet. Very conservative. A lot of the previous boards were finance people. I mean, not that finance people are bad, but let's face it. How did that work out for Intel?
Right. I mean, look, if I look at
You starve innovation when you run it just as a financial business. You starve it.
yes, right.
Starve it. Yeah.
So, we actually have talked for
A
this is
couple
like
hours now.
we're going on 2 hours now.
Yes, we are.
But it seems like it's been 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this I've gotten a good feel for what Bill is all about and where he
Yeah.
wants to take this company. And it's not just run it to
No.
stay alive. It's he wants to really grow this thing, right?
Yeah. My job is really as a CEO is to come in and create a company that can grow in the future, even when I'm not there. Right? Get that foundation built up so that they have pathways to grow in markets that have growth in front of them. In the CapEx business, it's tough. I mean, in any CapEx business, there are big cycles and they're long because the investment, some of our equipment lasts for 10 years.
That's what I
So
was going
you
to
got
get
to
to.
take that, yeah, you got to take that platform and move it in areas where that space is always growing and there's always a need and innovation and doing things better. And we've got two places to go, and that's where we're going with our acquisitions. That's what's really going to open this business up for growth. We got
Right.
it. We're going there, you know.
Yeah, and I love that. And here's the thing: it typically takes, and this is from personal experience,
Yeah,
it's about 2.5, 3 years
yeah,
is when the sweet spot starts to kick in. And
you're
here's
right.
why. You got a lot of legacy crap you got to deal with when you first come
Yeah.
in, right?
Oh yeah,
You got to change the culture. That takes
yeah.
time.
That takes time.
And then once that culture starts to really kick in and you've got the right people at the table, including the
Yeah.
board,
Yep.
that's when the magic starts to happen,
Yeah,
right?
and you're spot on because by the end of this year, and maybe sooner, right, could happen, we'll arrive at that point of growing again significantly and generating profits that this company has never generated in its past. And it's going to be around that 2 to 2.5 year mark.
And that is what you look for, man. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I look for, right? And
yeah,
that's why
yep,
you and I are sitting here today
yeah,
because I look at it like this. This is the opportunity. I like being early. I don't have a
yeah,
problem being early. You know what?
yeah,
I can be early. I can listen to all the negative naysayers saying, "Oh,
yeah,
it's a
right,
piece of shit company. It's been around
yeah,
forever. Or they never met."
yeah,
You're right. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. The
right,
beautiful thing about the stock market is
yeah,
you can be right. Everybody
yeah,
can be right.
yeah,
You can say it's
yeah,
a piece of shit company and it's garbage
yep,
and it's going to go down. Share price.
yep,
And you're right. It will.
yep,
But and I always say this:
yeah,
it is that until it isn't.
right,
Right.
yeah,
And
right.
then when it isn't,
Mm.
and it has that spike, and everybody thinks, "Oh, it's just that same old company. Let's dump it.
Yeah,
Let's short
right.
it." Right?
Not a good idea.
Yeah, go ahead, short it because
Yeah.
you're shorting a completely different animal.
Yeah, they'll
Right?
be missing out on the next 50 million of growth.
I
Because
love it.
trust me, I have it teed up.
Yeah. I mean, look, I look at it
So,
like this, people. You're right. Companies can be dogs. They can be,
yeah,
but when
they
you
can.
get a new team in that
Yeah.
is, and here's the thing that I know, and I learned this just from sitting and speaking with Bill for a couple of, this is personal to Bill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I was just gonna say that because, my family's in Boston. I've got 4 kids and 7 grandkids. This brand means a lot to me personally because my dad introduced me to it and into this in tech environment. And so it's not just a job for me. It's something that Dataro was 80% market share for many, many years. And there's some great people still in this company that can help us get there. And it just needed some life pumped into it. And so I'm here to win, and I'm here to get this brand back to its prominence that it was. But more importantly, get it into some new growth vectors that can lead to sustainable growth over a long time period. Because I'm going to bring in younger generations, and I want them to grow as well.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic conversation. I'm very excited about this particular
Thanks, Tim.
company. I owe Jordan at least a cocktail.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Well, Tim, I really appreciate the time. I mean, as you can tell, I love talking about this. It's been a big part of my life. Granted, it's not in the location I like it to be in, but that just gives me all the more, strength and willingness and energy to get this done.
how many shares outstanding fully diluted
About
do you have?
9 million.
How many?
9 million.
Nine. Okay.
Yep.
And are you good on cash?
Yeah, we got a decent look. We burned through some cash last year, but we'll be, I can't say what it will be because we release our earnings report, But look, it's still healthy. But the budget we have this year, the budget we put down on the table, still has upside, and it does get us to the ability to start growing cash again without any M&A, mind you, in the second half. So we're quite comfortable.
Right. Okay.
I've got a lot of new blood investors. There's some new shareholders that have come into the stock. I've refreshed that, and they love the story.
So do you have some new products that are potentially rolling out? Is there
Yeah, the
anything?
second half we do. Yep. And
Okay.
then we have our programming platform, our next generation. We did already do one in Q4. That was just to really fill a gap within the product that was there when I arrived to get it to at least on par. Our next generation platform that comes out the end of this year will last a good 10 years, and it should be the best platform in the world as far as programming silicon.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you and I already know the answer to this question because you and I already talked about it, but I'll act like it's a new question. So AI, do you do anything there?
Yeah, AI has been interesting. It's a lot of people have been afraid of it. It's interesting the lack of adoption from CEOs in this industry. I think part of it is they just don't understand it and how helpful it can be. I personally have had a lot of help just doing market research and understanding the market we're really in, and doing research on competitors and companies that we could possibly be in our ecosystem that are adjacent to us. But more importantly, we've started to use it in our software group, and it's really starting to pay dividends. I think, we could probably reduce our design time on new products by 50%, maybe more. I mean, it's insane how productive it has made our team. Even in marketing, from designing our new website that they're working on, releasing, we're going to Salesforce Service Cloud, and they have AI agents within that. That's going to help better serve our customers and get better data so we can, serve them better and faster. So I mean, if you're not using AI, you need to take another look at that,
You know,
because I can't tell you how many ways we're using it today, and it's only going to expand. You're going to get left behind if you don't.
that's the thing. I know that a lot of people are afraid of, you know, AI is going to take their jobs or,
It's a big change. It is.
but there's also a way of looking at it as though AI enhances you to do your job
Yeah.
better.
I think of this way. My service tech's out in the field. He's at a customer site, and the customer operator says, "Hey, on this GUI, I'd like to move these buttons from here to here or add a small little feature." If the AI, the AI will have an agent active all the time in our software. Think of a service tech being right there and saying, "Oh, I can change that for you." Typing it in the command line in Claude, and boom, it's there in 3 seconds. Are you kidding me? Who doesn't want that?
Right. Who doesn't want that? Right.
Seriously? I mean, you can serve your customer right there.
A- And everybody's happy. I mean, look,
Everybody is.
I,
Yeah.
I think it's a win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
We always seem to fear new technologies, right?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, typically those new technologies lead to other things that we can do.
Yeah.
That we
They do.
It does. There's always something else we can do. I mean,
Yeah.
it just opens up the time. That's what it
And
does.
look, it's not going to replace every job on the planet. It's not going to happen overnight. I get the fears. I totally get it. But you know what? Those fears are just not substantiated right now, and they'll be a long time off. And by then,
It's not gonna, here's the thing. It's not
yeah.
stopping. We're not putting
No,
this genie
it's
back in
not.
the bottle.
And so it's how you put it to play. But the way I look at it, it's going to create a lot of new jobs. And it's already creating companies today, new companies that are
Yeah.
taking off because they can build things faster, they can do things better. Think about just the healthcare industry and the impact for humans. The positive impact, not the negative, the positive. The genes, the proteins they're figuring out that no way. I mean, yeah, maybe 20 years from now they would figure it out. They're doing something 20 years from now in 6 months.
Yep.
Things on Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that, heart disease, everything. I
Yep.
mean, I would expect cancer to be cured in 3 years from now. I
Yep.
mean, the ability to do that research and bring those models together is going to help humans. And robotics, think about people that are disabled. Imagine a robotic exoskeleton that they can walk again. I
That's
mean, there's so many things that could happen here that will make our lives better.
Yes, it will. And it's here's what's funny to me. I look at it as if you have a repetitive motion job, I don't care what it
Yeah.
is. There's a
Yep.
robot that does it and it does it
Yep.
better. Okay.
Yeah.
And we can raise the minimum wage for a repetitive motion job.
Yeah.
And all we do by doing that is saying, okay, here's the cost of human cap and here's the
Yeah.
cost of robotics. Well,
Yeah.
robotics used to be out of range, but now we've raised the price of the cost of the human to, 25 bucks an hour to flip a burger. And,
Right.
and then there's the sexual harassment and
Yeah.
age discrimination and all the other shit that goes with humans.
Right.
You don't have with a robot, right? It
Right.
just works
No,
24/7. It
just keeps
never
going.
asks for a break. It doesn't
But
get pregnant. Nothing
right.
happens with that, right?
Right.
It's going that direction, people.
Yeah,
Whether
it
you
is.
think it is or not, it's going to
But
go.
you're gonna need technicians to service those robots and service that automation. This is a whole new job sector that people are gonna be needed for. So it's like it doesn't run forever on its own. It's
Right.
gonna break. Things are gonna break. I mean, it's just things are gonna need to be maintained. It's just a different skill set. And I've seen things come out in the government to say, oh, we just need to find a way to give people money because of the impact of AI. Don't fall into that.
Don't fall in
Look for a
it.
new skill, train yourself up. Don't be one of those handouts because that's a position of weakness, not strength.
Right. Don't ever want to be reliant upon somebody else,
Don't.
right?
There's a way, there's lots of jobs that will continue. Think about a car, right? Cars don't run forever and they get sold and they go to what? The used car market. There'll be a used robot market, right?
Yep.
I mean, there'll be new businesses that will open up and specialize. Robots will specialize to do certain things, right? You could have a company that specializes in those robots. Think in the future, take the past and analyze it. Look, you can go through industrial revolutions for the last 200 years. There was always new companies and new businesses that opened up through it.
Yep.
Always.
It's just being open to those ideas. Don't
Yeah,
don't fear it.
right,
Don't fear it.
right.
Embrace it and figure
Embrace it,
out how to
use it.
use it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So look, I mean, I've already had you for almost, I think, 3 hours.
I appreciate it, Tim.
What do you feel is the next catalyst? What do you think the next catalyst could be for the company?
Yeah. Yeah, the next catalyst really is, we're looking at our M&A activity is very active right now. And that's a
Okay.
big part of the plan that I put in place over a year ago for the board. I mean, we knew, I brought in a gentleman by the name of Monty Reagan, my VP of Sales and Marketing. He worked at DataRow's biggest competitor and actually took a lot of DataRow's market share away. So I put the team in place that knows how to grow this business. But one of the things we're getting into those other programming services, into programming a test. So we're not, like I said, we're not going to do that organically. We're going to buy it because as we buy, that's a good solid buy because also we know as a team we can organically grow those businesses pretty quickly because we've been in my business was a services business. That's my background. So we buy a small services business, we can grow it from there.
So
So,
if we freeze frame
yeah,
today, 3 years from now, right,
yeah,
and call this chapter a success,
yeah.
right? What 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 does that look
What
like?
does that look like?
Yeah.
Well, from a product stand, from a portfolio standpoint, we'll have three main business units. One is the CapEx that we have today. One would be services, which will be 2 or 3 times larger than the core. I mean, these are much larger TAMs. The at test will be probably 4 or 5 times larger than that. So that's how I get to that 100, 200 mark. And now look, there's other companies we could buy and consolidate within those businesses as well. So there are other M&A activities we can do to then become the leader in these verticals, these domains.
Okay.
So that's how I look at success. We can not only become number one again in our core business, we get number one as a services business and number one in ad test. And so that's success to me.
Okay. And of course, building the team around you
Yeah.
is a
I've
big.
already got the people picked to run those divisions, Tim. One of them's already under consulting contract, so I'm way ahead of it. It won't be me. Trust me. One of the things that my dad told me, which I took to heart, and he was 100% right. He said, Bill, look, you want to build a great company, hire everybody around you to be smarter than you, one, and learn from them. And if you do those two things, you'll build a great company. And by the way, you won't have to work as hard.
Bill, I got to tell you, man, this was a breath of fresh air. I mean, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed meeting you.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
excited about the company.
Yeah.
I don't tell people what to do. I don't tell them what to buy or sell.
Yeah, right.
All
I
I
gotta
do
make a
is
decision.
present the opportunity and let people know what I find interesting and compelling about the
Yeah.
opportunity, right? So
Right.
I'm not a technical guy, but I can tell you this. I'm gonna move my background here for a minute just so we can look at
Yeah.
the chart
Uh,
and show people. So, I did look at the chart, and if you see this yellow line here, hold on a second. So this stock has been really in a downward trend for a long
yeah,
time,
has been. Yeah.
right? This yellow line that I have right here, I'm trying to get the screen to shrink, but
Yeah, that's
hold
right.
on a second.
Where do we go today? By the way, I never look at the stock.
Well,
I'll let you know when I'm going to start following it, which will be
so
in the
that's
next 6 months.
you may find that, especially retail people, they might sit there and think,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's bullshit. He doesn't follow the stock." You know what? You shouldn't follow the stock. You
No,
should
I don't. Why
run.
would I do that?
You don't
I
run
know
the
the work in
business.
front of me. I'll let you know when I start looking at it. And it's
Right.
going to be short, but it's again, it's not a barometer of today. It's a
Right.
barometer of 6 months from now.
So
And
if
these
I
come in
look at the
chunks.
history, the
Yeah.
highest the stock has been, I think, is about
16, 17. It
16.50,
was for like a
right?
day.
So yeah, it was for like a day, and then since
Yeah.
then, it's just been
Yeah.
from the upper left to the lower
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that you haven't had bounces in between. Of course, you have,
Oh, yeah.
but the overall trend
It's
is
been that.
clearly from the upper left to the lower
Oh,
right.
yeah. It's been a
Okay,
dead stock for a while.
and that means that is the dominant trend. Now, here's what's interesting, and and this is like voodoo stuff, right? So here's your all-time low. I think this could be your all-time low. You got down to like a buck 90
Oh,
or
did
something.
it really? I didn't.
No, it got down to, hold on a second. Let me see. What is that? A buck, yeah, buck 90, buck 80, buck
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
80 right in there.
Yeah, it did hit.
And so, but what you've got going is there's this pattern. It's a reverse head and shoulders pattern. This would be the
Yeah,
head, and then
yeah,
here's the shoulder, and then here's the shoulder, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then you got the neckline, which if you take out the neckline, then that's a positive breakout. See,
yeah,
none of that stuff, Bill. I really, to me, it all sounded like voodoo.
yeah.
And
It was,
I'll tell you, it is spooky how accurate stock technicals can be, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
price
Well, a
memory,
lot of it's built into algorithms and things like that too,
right?
right? So those technicals will be kept in that range because of those algos. They don't know what I'm doing
Right. They
at
don't.
all,
But
at all.
that's why I love being the fundamental and the technical guy,
Yeah,
because
right.
if I can match a chart with what I know is sounding like a good fundamental,
Yeah,
I'm thinking my odds of success get greater,
increase.
right?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So as I look at the stock, I'm saying, okay, it's got double reverse head and shoulders. You're sitting right here around $3.
Yeah,
You got the long-term trend line, which you're bumping right up against.
yep.
It's consolidating.
Mm-hmm.
I would say so that, and when it's consolidating, it's doing what? It's compressing like a spring, right?
Yep.
So it's gonna break one way or
Yeah.
the
Oh,
other,
100%. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Which way
Yep.
is it gonna break? Now,
Yeah.
if it takes out the long-term trend line, why is that a huge deal?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's something that has momentum,
Yep.
and you need something of equal or greater force to break that momentum.
Yeah. Right.
And when you break it,
Yeah.
that is a significant break, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what it could mean, and I'm not saying it guaranteed, but it could mean
Yeah.
that long trend that's been established for years could be
Yeah.
turning into a trend that goes from the lower left
Yeah.
to the upper right. And you're
Absolutely.
catching it right at the break, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell people what to do, but I'm very excited about our future. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So look, I love this story. What I'd like to do is follow up with you.
Absolutely, would love to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love talking about what we're doing, the team. We're building a great team. We're in the middle of building a great culture. and we've got a great plan to execute on and plenty of ways to execute on that plan. We have options, which is
Right.
great.
When do you think we should do a follow-up?
I think, it would be good maybe around, the end of Q2 or something like that. I think there'll be a lot of things could happen sooner, like
Why
unless
don't we do
you're
this?
growing a business, but I'll leave that up to you.
Why don't we do this? Whenever you feel as though, I mean, this is how you should look at me, right?
Yeah.
I'm the guy that when after you do the press release and you say what you did, but
Yeah.
I'm the guy you come to and say, but Tim, this is what this means for us.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So maybe in mid-March, into March, and then probably I would say even June after that. Those are going to be inflection points, I think.
Okay. Anytime you feel like there's something you want to communicate well,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
That'd be great. Yeah.
I'm
Look, our Q4 was what it is, but look, we to my eyes, the way we set the company up and survived last year, because it was still a tough year in the industry. Automotive was still, in a tough place, and we got through last year. But the focus was not on last year's revenue. The focus was building the products, building the foundation, and putting the people in the right places to execute on a plan that includes, look, this company hasn't bought a company in 25 years.
right.
So the good thing is myself, Eddie, others have a lot of experience in M&A. I've integrated a lot of companies, and I understand the pitfalls of M&A. The big thing is making sure that the company you're buying culture matches and it fills product to service gaps that you don't have today. And when you can do that, those companies that are growing, I've done this before in the IT space, brought two companies together, they've grown at 6 to 8% respectively. We put them together because one was vertical, one was horizontal. That company grew 30% year over year for 30 months, and that PE firm got 7.5 times their money. And that was the deal I sponsored. So I understand M&A, and so and I really understand this industry. So I know what to go after, and I know what we have to grow into.
I feel very confident that you do know what you're talking
Oh
about.
yes,
So
I do. I do.
this is going to be, we're going to get to know each other better, man. We're
Yeah,
going to get to know
yeah.
each
I
other better.
appreciate the time, Tim. I really do.
All right, hold on one second. I'm going to shut this off. You feel as though I missed anything that you want to?
No, I think that was perfect. Actually, I thought it was
Okay,
great.
all right.
message, Tim.
Hold on one second. My dog wants to be part of this meeting.
I even let people bring their dogs in the office.
Oh, do you? That's
Yeah.
super cool, man.
Yeah, no, look, they're kids too to some people, right? So, my CFO, he's got an autistic son, and then sometimes the dog just gets a little, so I said, yeah, you can bring him in. I don't give a shit.
I'll tell you what, I don't have kids. My
Yeah.
dogs are my kids.
That's what I mean, right? It's a big part of the family, and the dog's great. He's just sits in his bed.
Thank you for tuning in to another CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Today we had Bill Wentworth from DAIO. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. If you did, do us a favor, give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button, because all of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Capital. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Capital wishes you the very best of success.
They think they know me, they assume they do. Judge my character, my past mistakes is nothing new. In their eyes I'm defined by what I've done before. But I fought through hell, kicked down every door. I'm the alpha wolf, my impact starts right here. Not the monster you claimed, I won't bow to fear. My scars are real, I've slayed my own demons in the night. My actions speak louder, shining ever so bright. Been the lone wolf, walking my own way. Easy to take the dark path, let my spirit sway. But the high road calls, a harder climb, it's true. I won't give you the power My scars are real, I slay my own demons in the night. My actions speak louder, shining ever so bright. I will be a better friend than you'll ever be to me. I'll help all those who strive to set the world free. No pointing fingers, no excuses in my stride. Just a ripple shaping the wave with nothing left to hide. I'm the alpha wolf, my impact starts right here. Not the monster you claimed, I won't bow to fear. My scars are real, I've slayed my own demons in the night.